I'm Olivia. This is Rewind Justice. Real stories, real drama, real satisfaction. Subscribe and let's get into it. The sun was merciless that June afternoon. I stood on the cracked sidewalk outside the Civic Center, diploma tube in one hand, watching my parents' minivan disappear around the corner. Mom had rolled down the window just enough to push three $20 bills through the gap. We did our part. Rest is on you. Then they were gone. My sister Emma sat in the back seat, phone glowing against her face, earbuds in. She didn't even wave. I looked down at the cash in my hand, $60. My backpack held my laptop, 2 changes of clothes, my phone charger, and a photo album I grabbed that morning. The bus stop bench was hot metal against my legs when I sat down. People streamed past from the graduation ceremony. Families laughing, taking pictures, heading to celebration dinners. I gripped my diploma tube so tight my knuckles whitened. The number 47 bus came 40 minutes later. I rode it to the cheapest motel the driver knew about. The Starlight Motor Lodge had peeling paint and a neon sign that buzzed like angry bees. $38 for 3 nights. That left me $22 for food. The room smelled like cigarettes and industrial cleaner. One bed with a sunken middle, a bathroom with rust stains, a TV bolted to the dresser. I sat on the edge of the bed and opened my laptop. Free Wi-Fi at least. I applied to 17 jobs that night. Fast food, retail, warehouse work, anything. My stomach was hollow, but I didn't cry. I just kept clicking, typing, submitting. The pattern had started small when I was 8. Emma got the pink bike with the basket and bell for her birthday. I got a card that said, "Happy birthday, use it for something you need." When I asked Mom about it, she'd smile that tired smile. "Emma's younger, she needs more encouragement. You're strong. You'll understand." I understood. I understood I was expected to need less, want less, take up less space. At 12, Emma got piano lessons and a dress for her recital. I bought my own calculator for the math competition with money from mowing lawns. When I placed 3rd in the county, Dad nodded. "That's good." When Emma played Twinkle Twinkle Little Star with 2 wrong notes, they recorded it, framed her recital program, sent the video to relatives. At 15, Emma got driving lessons and insurance on the family car. I walked 40 minutes to my part-time job at the grocery store. "You're so independent," Mom said like it was a compliment. "Emma needs more support." I bought my own used bike with 3 paychecks. The chain fell off twice a week, but it got me places. College was the biggest gap. Emma went to state with a $15,000 per year parental contribution, a meal plan, and a new laptop. She's pursuing marketing, Dad explained at a family dinner sophomore year. It's important she has what she needs to network. I went to community college on grants and loans, working 30 hours a week at Target, living in a shared apartment with 4 other students and 1 working bathroom. When I transferred to state for my junior year, my parents came to exactly 1 campus event, Emma's sorority formal, where I saw them across the lawn. They didn't come say hello. Emma graduated with job offers she turned down because the vibe wasn't right. She moved back home. Parents didn't charge rent. I graduated with $34,000 in student loans and a marketing degree identical to hers. That's when they drove me to the bus stop. Day 1 at the Starlight, I got hired at a 24-hour diner called Mel's. Night shift, 11 p.m. to 7 a.m., $7 an hour plus tips. The manager, Rita, was 60-something with bleached hair and a voice like gravel. She looked at my collared shirt and desperate eyes and said, "You start tonight. Don't be late and don't steal." I wasn't late. I didn't steal. I learned to carry 4 plates without dropping them, to pour coffee without looking, to smile at truckers who left 50-cent tips on $10 orders. Rita watched me for 3 weeks before speaking to me beyond shift instructions. It was 4 a.m., dead quiet except for one regular reading his paper. Rita slid into the booth across from me during my break. "You got somewhere to go during the day?" "Not really. My friend Sal has a wood shop. Needs someone to sand, clean, basic stuff, pays under the table. $10 an hour. Flexible." I met Sal the next afternoon. His shop was in a converted garage behind a house with a garden that looked like controlled chaos. Sal himself was 72, Colombian. with hands like leather and a three-legged dog named Margaret who followed him everywhere. You know anything about wood? His accent was thick, comfortable. No, sir. Good. The ones who know things know them wrong. I teach you right. He handed me sandpaper. Start there. That table leg. Smooth as water, understand? I sanded that table leg for 6 hours. Sal said nothing except more or lighter touch or feel the grain. Don't fight it. My shoulders burned. My fingers cramped. When he finally nodded, I nearly collapsed. Tomorrow 1 p.m. Don't be late. I worked nights at Mel's, afternoons with Sal, slept in 4-hour chunks. Months blurred into a rhythm of exhaustion and learning. Sal taught me to see wood as alive, to understand how joints fit, why grain direction mattered, how to use a chisel without slicing my thumb open. Margaret sat on my feet while I worked, warm and steady. By month 4, I'd moved into a better apartment, still small, still cheap, but the hot water worked consistently. I'd paid off the Starlight bill and had $200 saved. Rita started calling me kid with something like affection. Sal let me keep 2 chairs I'd made wobbly but mine. By year 2, I wasn't sanding anymore. I was designing. Sal had taught me traditional joinery, but I'd started incorporating modern elements, metal accents, unexpected angles. I made a coffee table with a geometric base that looked like it defied physics. Sal studied it for 10 minutes. This is good. Different. You have eye for this. A customer saw it and ordered 3 more. Then a local furniture store wanted 5 pieces. Then a designer from Seattle visited her sister, came into the shop, and took pictures. She called 2 weeks later. I want to feature your work in my showroom. Can you produce 15 pieces in 3 months? I quit the diner. Rita hugged me, pressed $200 into my hand. Don't forget us working people when you're fancy. By year 4, I had my own shop. Small, but mine. Margaret had passed, and Sal gave me her old bandana. She liked you best, he said. Keep it close. I hung it above my workbench. By year 7, a design magazine featured my work in a 6-page spread. Emerging artist combines traditional craft with modern minimalism. The orders flooded in. I hired 2 assistants. I bought a small house with a workshop attached. I paid off my student loans in 1 check. By year 10, a documentary crew contacted me. They were filming a series on American craftspeople, traditional trades adapted for modern markets. They spent 3 weeks filming me work, interviewing customers, showing my progression from that first wobbly chair to gallery-quality installations. The documentary aired on PBS. My website crashed from traffic. Orders came from California, New York, Texas, Colorado. A hotel chain wanted custom furniture for 15 locations. The number kept climbing. I hired 6 more people. Sal visited the new workshop, larger and brighter, and just nodded. Good. You teach them, right? I teach them your way. Then good. Year 13, I'd built something that felt impossible on that bus stop bench. Annual revenue over $2 million. A team of 12 craftspeople. Features in Architectural Digest, Dwell in the New York Times. My work in hotels, restaurants, private homes across the country. I'd bought a restored 1967 Lincoln Continental. Cream with a black soft top because teenage me had dreamed about cars like that. The invitation came through Facebook. Williams family reunion, everyone welcome. Hosted by Aunt Carol. The date, the location, the promise of fun for all ages. I stared at it for 3 days. Emma had gotten married at 25, divorced at 28. Her Instagram showed her still living at mom and dad's house. POSTNG motivational quotes about finding yourself and the universe's timing. My parents looked older in her photos. Dad's hair completely gray. Mom's face tighter, smile dimmer. IRSVPD, yes. I arranged for the documentary crew to come along, pitching it as a full-circle moment returning to family after building success alone. They agreed immediately. The reunion was at Riverside Park, same place we'd had them my whole childhood. I drove up in the Lincoln with the documentary crew following in their van. My hair was different now, shorter and professionally styled instead of the long ponytail I'd worn at graduation. I wore a tailored linen shirt and dark jeans, leather shoes instead of sneakers. I'd filled out, shoulders broader from years of physical work. My hands showed it too calloused, confident, marked by my craft. I parked and stepped out. Conversation slowed like someone had turned down the volume. Children kept playing, but adults stared. The camera crew set up discreetly at the parking lot edge. Aunt Carol rushed over first. "Oh my goodness, are you here for the reunion? Are you a friend of someone's?" "Hi, Aunt Carol." My voice was calm, steady. "It's me, Sarah." Her jaw dropped. Literally dropped, mouth open, eyes scanning my face. "Sarah? Our Sarah?" "No, you look so different." Mom had been arranging potato salad on the buffet table. She looked up at Aunt Carol's voice and our eyes met. I saw the confusion first, then the slow recognition, then something like panic. She touched Dad's arm. He'd been talking to Uncle Mike, beer halfway to his mouth. When he saw me, the bottle tipped, spilled down his shirt. He didn't notice. Emma was sitting at a picnic table with cousins. She glanced over, looked away, then looked back sharply. Her face went pale. I walked toward them, slowly. The camera crew followed at a respectful distance, barely noticeable but capturing everything. People whispered. Someone said my name. It rippled through the reunion like dropping a stone in still water. "Sarah?" Mom's voice was small. "Is that really you?" "Hi, Mom. Dad." I stopped 10 feet away. Close enough to talk, far enough to maintain space. "It's been 13 years. Dad found his voice first. "What are you doing here?" "We weren't expecting. We didn't think you'd..." "I was invited." I kept my tone level. "Family reunion." "I'm family." Emma stood up slowly. She looked the same, just older. Same highlights, same style, same uncertain expression. "You look so different. What happened to you?" "I built a life." I didn't smile, didn't frown, just stated facts. "After you left me at that bus stop with $60. Mom's hand flew to her chest. "We didn't leave you, you were independent, you didn't need..." "I had $60, Mom." My voice stayed quiet, but everyone nearby had gone silent. 3 $20 bills. "You told me you'd done your part and drove away." Emma didn't even look up from her phone. "You were fine, though," Dad said quickly. "You're here now, you're clearly doing well, so it all worked out. No thanks to you." The camera crew's lens caught his flinch. Aunt Carol touched my shoulder gently. "Sarah, honey, what have you been doing all these years? We never heard from you." "Working, learning, building." I turned slightly so I could address the small crowd now watching openly. "I worked at a diner called Mel's. Night shift, $7 an hour. Then I met a master woodworker named Sal, who taught me his craft. Started making furniture, got good at it. Really good." "Furniture?" Emma's voice had an edge. "You make furniture?" "Custom furniture, installations, gallery pieces." I pulled out my phone, showed them my website. Annual revenue over $2 million. Featured in the Times, Architectural Digest, Dwell, that documentary crew over there. They filmed me for PBS. It aired last month. Mom's knees buckled slightly. Dad caught her arm. $2 million. Dad's voice cracked. "You're lying. Want to see my tax returns?" I said it pleasantly, like offering someone coffee. Or we could call my accountant. "She's very responsive." Uncle Mike stepped closer, squinting at my phone screen. "Holy hell. That's really you? This is your work?" He scrolled through the gallery. "Janet, look at this. These pieces are incredible." People gathered around, phones coming out, searching my name. Someone found the documentary. Someone else found the Times article. Whispers turned to exclamations. "You did this alone?" Aunt Carol's eyes were wet. "After they left you with nothing?" "With $60 in a backpack," I corrected gently. "But yes, alone. Well, not entirely. Rita at the diner helped me. Sal taught me everything. His dog Margaret kept my feet warm while I learned. I had people who saw something in me worth investing in." Mom made a sound like a sob. "We invested in you." We raised you, You gave Emma $15,000 a year for college. My voice stayed level. Facts, not accusations. New laptop, meal plans, sorority fees, car insurance. I got grants and loans and worked 30 hours a week. You came to her sorority formal but not my graduation. We were at your graduation, Dad protested. You were at the ceremony. Then you drove me to a bus stop and left. I met his eyes. I watched your van disappear. I thought maybe you'd circle back, say it was a joke, a lesson. You didn't. Emma was crying now. Makeup running. We didn't know it was like that. Mom and Dad said you wanted independence. I was 22, Emma. Fresh graduate. I wanted what you got. Support, belief, a safety net. I turned to my parents. You know what Sal told me when I made my first real piece? He said, you have gift. I see it. I teach you because gifts shouldn't die from neglect. He was 72 years old and he saw something in me you never looked for. That's not fair, Mom whispered. We loved you. You expected me to need less. Be less. Take up less space. I wasn't angry. That was the strangest part. I just felt tired and far away, like I was watching from a distance. Every birthday, every milestone, every accomplishment. Emma got celebration. I got that's good in a nod. A woman I didn't recognize came forward. She had a press badge. Sarah Williams? I'm John Martinez from the Tribune. I've followed your work. Would you be willing to do an interview about your journey? Before I could answer, another voice called out. Sarah. A man in his 50s approached, expensive watch, confident stride. Tom Brennan. I saw your documentary. I'm developing a boutique hotel chain in the Pacific Northwest. We'd love to discuss a partnership. Full furnishings, all custom. Could be a 6-figure contract. Dad's face went from red to gray. Mom sat down heavily on the picnic bench. You're that Sarah Williams? Someone's teenager was scrolling frantically. The woodworking artist? Mom, she has like 2 million followers on Instagram. I hadn't mentioned that part. Emma stared at her phone, at my social media, at my professional website with the waiting list for commissions. This whole time, she said slowly, you were becoming this, and we had no idea? You never asked. I said it simply. Not once in 13 years did anyone reach out. Not a text, not a call, not an email. We thought you wanted space, Dad said weakly. I wanted you to care enough to check. I adjusted Margaret's bandana around my wrist, faded blue with embroidered flowers. But you didn't. So I found people who did, built something real. And yeah, it hurt for a while. But eventually, I realized I didn't need your permission to succeed, or your approval to matter. Tom Brennan handed me his card. Seriously, call me. This could be massive for both of us. The journalist took photos, asked for my contact information. Cousins I barely remembered came over, wanting to reconnect, see my workshop, commission pieces. The reunion had shifted. I was no longer the forgotten daughter who disappeared. I was someone worth knowing. Mom stood up, came closer. Her face was older, more lines than I remembered. Sarah, we made mistakes. We see that now. Could we maybe talk? Start over? I looked at her. Really looked. Saw the desperation. The hope that I'd say yes. That we'd hug and cry and everything would be fixed. Saw Emma hovering behind her. Dad standing with his shoulders slumped. Aunt Carol watching with concerned eyes. No, I said quietly. I already said my goodbye. 13 years ago at a bus stop. But you came here, Emma protested. You showed up. That means you want... I came here to close the loop. I gestured to the documentary crew. Full circle for the film. Also, I wanted to see if I'd feel anything. If seeing you all again would hurt. Does it? Mom's voice broke. No, and that was the truth. I've moved so far past this that you're just people I used to know. That day you left me, it crushed me. But then I rebuilt, stronger, different, without you. And I don't need you now. I pulled out an envelope, handed it to Mom. Inside was a check for $60 and a note. Your investment returned with interest. Dad looked at it, confused. Mom made a choking sound. I don't want your money. Mom whispered. And I didn't want your abandonment. I checked my watch. I have a meeting tomorrow in Seattle. Big commission, estate project. Should head out soon. Seattle? Emma's voice was small. You live in Seattle? Portland. 2 hours south of here. I'd lived 2 hours away for 5 years. Never mentioned. Never visited. Neither had they. The journalist was interviewing Aunt Carol now, getting family background. The documentary crew captured my parents' faces, the reunion goers clustering around, the shift in atmosphere. Tom Brennan was looking at my work on his phone, nodding to himself. Before you go, Dad said hoarsely. Can we at least your number, email, some way to reach you? I considered it, saw the hope in their faces. The desperation. The sudden realization that they'd thrown away their only competent child and kept the one who still lived at home at 35. No, I said. I don't think so. Please. Mom was crying openly now. We're your parents. We made mistakes, but we love you. You loved Emma. I was just the one who didn't need as much. I wasn't cruel. Just factual. And that's fine. You made your choices. I made mine. I'm just here to show you what those choices cost. I walked back to the Lincoln, camera crew following. People called my name, asked for pictures, tried to get my contact information for commission work. I exchanged cards with the journalist and Tom Brennan. Hugged Aunt Carol, who whispered, I'm so proud of you, through tears. Emma ran after me as I reached the car. Sarah, wait. I'm sorry. I didn't know. I didn't realize. You were there, Emma. I opened the car door. Bus stop, $60. You didn't even wave. I was young. I was stupid. You were 20 and completely aware. I slid into the driver's seat. I hope you figure your life out. Genuinely. But I can't be part of it. I drove away. In the rearview mirror, I saw Mom collapse against Dad, Emma standing alone in the parking lot, Aunt Carol trying to comfort both. The reunion continued behind me, forever altered. The camera crew followed me to a coffee shop 3 miles away. We did the closing interview there, me in a window booth with afternoon light streaming in. How do you feel? The director asked. I thought about it, really thought. Light. For the first time in 13 years, I feel completely light. Like, I can finally stop carrying their weight. Do you regret going? No, I needed to see them. To confirm that I didn't need them anymore. That what I built, it's real, it's mine. And it exists completely independent of whether they approve or recognize it. What would you say to someone in a similar situation? Someone cut off or abandoned by family? I looked out the window. Portland waited 3 hours north. My workshop with 6 apprentices learning Sal's techniques. My house with Margaret's bandana framed above my desk. My life built piece by piece from $60 in desperation. I'd say this, their neglect doesn't define your worth. Their absence doesn't limit your potential. Find your Sal, your Rita, your Margaret. People who see you, really see you, without needing you to shrink or apologize or settle for less. Build something real with your hands, your mind, your stubborn refusal to disappear. And when you succeed because you will don't go back for their approval, you'll already have something better. Peace. The documentary ended with me in my workshop, hands running over cherry wood, morning light through high windows. Sal's techniques, my vision, Margaret's bandana around my wrist. The camera caught me smiling, not at anyone, just at the work. Just at the quiet joy of creating something beautiful from what everyone else discarded. Behind me, barely visible in the frame, was a framed photo. Me at 22, sitting on that bus stop bench, diploma tube across my knees, face set with determination I didn't know I had. I kept it as a reminder, not of where I'd been abandoned, but of where I'd chosen to begin. The family called 73 times in the next week. I blocked every number. Emma sent a 14-paragraph email explaining, apologizing, begging. I archived it unread. Mom and Dad sent a letter, actual paper, asking for a chance to make things right. I burned it in my workshop fire pit and used the ashes to fertilize the garden Sal had taught me to tend. They'd done their part. The rest was on me, and I'd done just fine. If you've ever been the one expected to need less, to take up less space, to succeed without support, you're not alone. Share your story in the comments. And subscribe for more stories of people who built themselves up from nothing without permission.